afternoon. So, like he said, we are going to show you from the other side of the house. We represent the end user. Most of you are innovators or contractors or providers. I'm a technology manager on a small municipality down here in Miami-Dade County, which is called the City of Coral Gables. And we have been recognized multiple times for our smart city infrastructure and plan, which is nothing else than many strategies that use the IoT devices that we are covering in this event. And you can see we have spent several years creating a team in many disciplines that are managing either strategies, plans, or deploying technologies to make all this work. A little bit about Coral Gables. I still get Coral Gables where? We're a small city in Miami-Dade County with about 50,000 residents. We were founded as a planned community in 1924, and we have become home to multiple consulates, the University of Miami, and several important Fortune 500 that have headquartered around the city. The city's innovation and technology plan has been recognized several times, including in 2022. We received the Smart City Innovation Excellence Award and the IEEE Awards for the jury prize. As well as we were recognized as one of the top 7 smart cities in the world, and very tight competition that took many, many months and a lot of work. With that, we support the city's goal of providing municipal services and improving quality of life. We are home of a Class 1 fire department and a fully accredited police department. We are a regional EOC and operate a regional 911, which is the #1 backup for the county. And we have taken the necessary steps to bring all that to the next generation to support real-time needs. The technology department was created as a support unit and has become an innovation unit and a partner, meaning that we align with the city's goals. And we make sure that whatever we deploy is fostering a strategic goal from one of the city council members, is part of the city's overall strategic plan of improving quality of life. And well, we're here to talk technology and how we use technology for our purposes. So basically, we have the same goals, everybody. Like I said before, use technology to allow the city to implement the vision and goals better and faster. That's what technology does. And as municipal managers, we align with our peers to allow them to implement their public safety plans, to provide actionable data for business owners, and to create traffic studies that can create calming features where they're needed or improve traffic in main thoroughfares. Challenges is all this have to be designed on a multi-layer environment that can be secure. CIA is paramount. Once we put these things out there, we need to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of all these systems and data. This is citizen data. This is sensitive data because we refer to public safety. And well, then we have data that needs to be readily available, like economic development and transparency portals. We must extend our enterprise policies and strategies out to make sure that everything is properly accounted for and that we are only using devices that we can track, that we can patch, and that we can retire when they need to retire. And with that, I'll take a step back and go back to the align process. We have been successful because we choose the right technology and we deploy technology that works, but more importantly, because we align with our peers and with our partners. The best way of succeeding is aligning with city council, with city smart goals, and with departmental needs. If the parking director is building that rebuilding the parking lot, get with them on that project. Make sure that you put your IT needs and your budgetary needs as part of the project, but sell him on the journey that is not just going to be a parking. Now you're going to have parking that is going to have 3 lanes and it's going to have a gate, and you're going to have to be able to turn the lanes in the direction that you need depending on the time of the day, because I'm going to tell you what to expect and at what time. And we're going to be able to tell people how many parking spots are available and where. And they're going to be able to pay from their phone. And now they're not going to get tickets anymore because they're going to get an alert, like they just do on the streets. So we're basically reusing what already exists in a standing instruction. Same deal with police. They need to rebuild the police station. So helping put sensors, cameras, perimeter alarms and alerts. And all this needs to be done with a delivery at the end of every phase. If you have a phase that only does technology and it doesn't deliver a citizen product or a product that benefits the goal of the department, then it's meaningless because, yeah, we just spent $200,000 on bury some wire, but what does that do? More than likely not going to get it funded for the next round. And it's my professional recommendation that if you have public safety in your municipality, gear your strategy towards public safety first. And I'm using a quote that the city of South Bend used at an event that we hosted the other day. If people don't feel safe, nothing works. Nothing else works. They won't come out. You can have all the businesses that you want. You will have no customers. So we aligned with the police department. We made these service points geared to their needs so they can have AOPRs and detect vehicles that have been stolen before they leave the city. So if somebody comes around and is planning to do something and see all these cameras that are looking around, they think twice and maybe don't do it. Hopefully don't do it. Again, the gentleman before me was talking about all these new resources that we have on 5G and fiber and how to create resiliency. And as an end user, we have to place that. And on highly connected areas like downtowns, we strive to build fiber, because if you own the glass, you own your destiny. But that may not be possible everywhere. So we have to work, again, with our peers from economic development to be able to get on high rooftops, to put a second tier of privately owned wireless point-to-point. And in some cases, we may have to use 5G and other means of relaying services. But we want to own as much as possible for security and reliability purposes. And as a city, we have been able to build a considerable footprint of fiber optics and privately owned and operated wireless point-to-point, which got us an award in 2017 from the IEEE. You can see up there. Basically, we had 3 cities USA. Irma was the 3 hurricane. It took down 80% of the power in the city. We never lost connectivity with one fire truck throughout the entire event. Even though there was no power, we had service. We leveraged the use of satellite. Back in the day, we had that rapid deployment kit there, that it wasn't that rapid. Well, today we use Tesla satellites. That thing is impressive. You pay a third of the money and you get 5 times the bandwidth. I operate my entire police command from out of a Tesla satellite. Again, we don't have a lot of space outside. We never do. We never have space, actually. We're going to co-locate with Public Works or with Public Service on a 5x6 by 4 service point where they have their power and they have their irrigation controls. So we have to be very good in our selection process to select everything from the NEMA box that's going to host everything to the industrial switch that's going to run it, to the IoT device that is going to generate more than one type of data that you need in your environment. Because you're just not going to have the space. You're going to have to make all this happen in a couple of meters. Layers. Once we step up from public safety, we're going to have to work with the economic sustainability guys. They want this data. They want this data, and they wanted to provide it to the business owners to help them staff. So our video analytics tool has the capability on our boulevard. We have cameras, and the camera can tell you at 2 p.m. there is 200 people turning left into this place, but you only have 10 at 5. So they provide that to the restaurant owners and can help them staff properly. They provide that to the parking director and can help them deploy accordingly to make sure that we can support traffic. Same with police, same with fire. Going a little forward, for the residents, visitors, and tourists, they need wayfinding. They need a way to move to the city. So we work with economic development again, with parking and with mobility. We have our rider information readily available on the website. All that is on our Smart City Hub. But it's also on the kiosk. We have kiosks deployed throughout the city. And you can find out where the trolley is right there and where the other one is. And it even tells if you have more than 10 people. Maybe you don't like it, especially after COVID. People are playing a little back. They don't want to be in crowds. It tells you where the restaurants are. You can see the menu there. For citizens that are a little bit more involved with the city's processes, we have transparency portals. So they can see what every penny is being spent. And again, for the open management purposes, so you can continue to get the blessing from open management, they need to see this at a high level because they have decisions to make. They can't spend 5 hours with every director. So there has to be a horizontal integration of these systems in which it's our role to pick the proper APIs, connect these systems to make sure that data is properly sanitized before it moves from one interface to the other, but it's readily available for them to make the decisions that they need, maybe to create a new study or an ordinance. An outcome of a strategy like this, it will be what we've been discussing, 3 layers. And if you notice, I put public safety first. And I like to stress that. If people are not safe, nothing else works. So public safety first. Bury that layer deep down there. Apply all your security to that. If you have the wire, dedicate the wire. If you don't have the wire, VLAN and ACL it. Do everything that is not intelligent. In my opinion, I specialize in security in depth. Don't put intelligence in front of physical. Try to do physical where able and then intelligence on top of that. If you can do both, so be it. But that's where the CCTV, the APR, the shot spotters, the radars, that's going to aggregate at some point to a crime intelligence center or fusion center, how you may call it. It may touch 911. It will definitely touch vehicles. So you need to protect that layer. That's your core, if we can call it in that environment. Taking a step forward, municipal management. This is also very sensitive. We got SCADA, HVAC, actuators. Somebody could use that as an entry point and exploit your network. So that also has to be protected. It still doesn't have to talk to public safety, but public safety may have to talk to it. But most definitely, the economic development citizen-facing layer doesn't have to talk to any of that. That's presentation only. These devices are only going to use the data, the reports that you are creating. So it has no business back there, even though it may benefit from this hotspot that is on the same, and I show you here. If you see on the far left, there is what I was talking about, a service point. There is a very small service point. Now, there is a hotspot there. That hotspot is doing fire, police, general government for inspectors, but it's also doing public Wi-Fi. So all of them need to garnish that data. That doesn't mean that they need to access the network. We bring that to a presentation layer, sanitize it, and then give it to them. However, it's the same hotspot. And we would been discussing about devices. We have low power devices on the water doing water quality. We implemented smart lighting and all the other layers that everybody needed. But at the very top, and our main priority has always been public safety. That's how our environment looks, and I'd like to leave you with a video that it was played by the keynote speaker at the Gartner conference, pricing our ACI strategy. See if I do this right. Did. No? Yes.
ICI is like an air traffic control system for bridges and roads, ports, and airports. It's a combination of technologies like IoT, AI, cloud, and edge that are integrated in a mesh fabric. Infrastructure used to be silent, but ICI gives it a voice. Bridges everywhere are going to talk about how great this is. Coral Gables is a city in Florida that's using ICI. This city wanted to grow and improve public safety, so they implemented ICI technologies like sensors for traffic, environmental health, and safety, smart streetlights, and internet connectivity across the city. For Coral Gables, these investments have led to lower crime and accident rates and reduced emissions and energy costs. Better air quality and better safety have dramatically improved livability in the city. ICI.
And well, that concludes my presentation. If anybody has questions, I'll be able to answer.
Everybody start doing a jumping jack with their hands. Okay, now, once you've got a question, you're allowed to start doing jumping jacks, but you raise your hand. So do we have any questions from the audience? Okay, now there's the issue of having you talk into the mic. So speak into my chest, but in a nice way.
Like this. No. I had a question about your access point. You mentioned in one of the slides that it's the same access point that is...
I'm sorry, can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Question regarding the security associated with the access point that you were describing in one of your slides. It seems to be a single kind of point, a choke point, right, for just about everything. How is that being mitigated, considering that you have access to it from pretty much anywhere within the area of that access point itself, but you've got everything on it. It's a public Wi-Fi, it's an access point for your services, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just seemed like something that almost jumped out immediately, but just really just asking how do you manage that from a security perspective?
But that is a very good question. That is a question that we ask ourselves a lot. And I'm glad that somebody picked up on it. So, yes, an access point is just that. It's a highway, it's a bridge. So the first comment that you made was bandwidth availability. So we do an assessment. What are we routing here? Are we going to route metadata, reports? Are we going to do video? Are we going to allow people to play YouTube? Let's say the answer is yes to everything, like it may be on a downtown like mine. So fine, you don't get a cheap access point. You get the best one that there is out there, and you make sure that it does multi-gigabit. For that, there had to have been a lot of planning ahead of it. Like I said, wire first, backbone first. So that backbone that we have at the service point that we had, let me see if I can find the service point. Top, again, far left, the services that we have. In the NEMA box, we have a very powerful industrial switch that is capable of doing multi-gigabit and is capable of taking a beating of 125 degrees that is not too hot in August in Miami. That then is going to be using dedicated fiber in that corridor. And from that point on, we're going to bring the traffic to core, layer 2 only, meaning it doesn't know where to get. It all it sees is a window. There is no avenues here, no hallways, just a window. And when it gets to core, this is going to be patched twice. So you have a VLAN that is going to a dedicated switch, to a dedicated firewall with a dedicated internet, very fat pipe for guest services. That addresses the first security concern. It never diffuses. It stays in core. There is you must have an inspection device, hopefully if you can afford an intrusion prevention sensor at this level, that sits physically in line between the fiber and the Ethernet. I don't like logical. It has to be physical, as long as you can afford it. Make it multi-interface, multi-gigabit. And then you break the connections, one to guest, one to enterprise. And then when you hit enterprise, you tell them at the enterprise, at the core, only this traffic goes this way, only this traffic goes that way. And there has to be, on the enterprise, on the receiving end, that is the enterprise, there has to be some sort of secondary layer of connection. I like doing 3, but then I specialize in security in depth. Most people do 2. 2 words, 3 is better. At the destination, there has to be a firewall that says, this device only talks to that. So even if you all are here and you come to me, I'm just going to let that guy. I'm not even going to talk to you. It's called a cleanup rule. It works. Administrators hate it. Make him have one. I use them. And I hope that answers your question.
Okay, we got another one here.
Hi, Coral Gables is just one of many municipalities and cities in Miami-Dade County. What I have is really two questions. Number one, is Coral Gables the only city in Miami-Dade doing the Internet of Things and meshing things together that way? Number two, I don't assume that all other locations in Miami-Dade are doing it, but is there a master plan for the county, and is the city of Coral Gables set up so it can, once the county gets up with its own network, it can mesh it in with all the access points?
Well, and again, I'm going to answer that from my capacity and from my level. I am the assistant information officer. So there may be information that I am not privy to, but I'm going to do my best to answer your question. Coral Gables is not the only city in the county that has smart city plans. They are not the only city using IoT sensors. I know that for a fact because we meet quite often. Everybody has plans. Everybody has different needs and using different. Some of them have very good programs. I have seen it myself. As discussions, it's not like we are doing any counseling or sort with peers. Are we ready to connect? We are connected. We are a backup 911. The Miami-Dade County runs a smart 911. It's been powered 911 since 2017. We're increasing that. There is a project called the Underground. The city of Miami and Miami-Dade County are heading that up. It's branching everywhere. There is a lot of planning and a lot of project and a lot of collaboration between the leaders of all the local municipalities in Miami-Dade County. And I don't have all the information, but they do exist.
Okay, my turn, Nelson. Nelson, how many vendors are you working with? How many partners do you have in total?
It's a whole portfolio. I mean, it's impossible to do all this by yourself. We have it at all levels. We have contractors, a lot of contractors, fiber contractors, Ethernet contractors. We have people that part of my portfolio is outfit a lot of buildings with smart technology. So not every vendor does, one does access control, the other one does CCTV, the other one does. So we have a gamut of vendors. We have sensors that can do 1, 2, or 3 functions, but not 5. Cameras. I like picking very high-end cameras, very powerful cameras that can do multiple streams. So I can do one stream for public safety dedicated and the other stream for traffic analytics and whatever studies that we may need. There are other cameras that also do edge analytics because we need it at that point. We have trailers. We even have technology on the boats. The city has a major coastline. We have a mobile command truck, so I don't know, 200?
Okay. Other questions from the crowd? Okay, I know you probably have to get on another conference call with your friends in other parts of the county. So I'm going to let you go here. Please give them a round of applause.
Thank you for having me.